Welcome to Let's Chat with Julie Lewin and the Spirit Talk series, where we delve into the realms of intuition, energy, and spiritual awakening, uncovering the wisdom that resides within each of us and the universe at large. I'm your host, Julie Lewin. Thank you for joining us. I am so thrilled to be joined by my good friend, Helen Glover. We've been having some amazing conversations lately about energy and vortexes and upgrades and, oh my goodness, I thought that you might like to be in on the conversation. So Helen's joining me and we're going to talk about what it means to be in the dark night of the soul. How do you know you're in the dark night of the soul? How do you cope with an energetic upgrade? How do you transition through it? What's happening to me? All of the questions. So let me introduce Helen. So good to have you here, Helen.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to pull some of our chat online. Such a good thing to be here with you, darling.
Thank you. Yeah. So where do you reckon we should start?
Well, I always think you're so fascinating how you can actually explain energetic upgrades, you know, what it looks like to be in that vortex of how you deal and cope with those feelings that go along with something so discombobulating, if I can say it like that.
Yeah, it is. So, you know, I know that I've been in an upgrade this year. And that impacted me physically. And having physical symptoms that you know are part of something greater, it is disconcerting. And I know for me, in the last few months, I was doing everything I absolutely could to assist my body in this energy upgrade. And I think one of the best things that I heard in that time was Pam Gregory, the astrologer in England, who talks about the planets and what that means in a really practical way. And she said, look, it's going to be tough. January, February, March, it's going to be tough. There's going to be, and she said that frequency is off the charts. And I thought, oh, thank goodness I'm hearing somebody else in the world who agrees with what Tash and I have been coming up with. And so she said that the 12th of April was going to be the day that it changed. And I can tell you that I was hanging out for the 12th of April.
Yeah.
And we're just in that time right now. And there's a lot going on. And so you feel the upgrade physically, it's exhausting energetically. And also there's mind fuckery that goes with it. Yeah.
100%.
And not many people talk about the mind fuckery. And that's exhausting in and of itself. So it's just really, I don't know.
So tell me, when you say mind fuckery, which I love, tell me, like, when you say that term, what does that represent?
What it represents for me is the mind looping. It's a bit like Groundhog Day, and your mind gets caught in a glitch. It's like a matrix glitch. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Matrix, but when the cat's walking past that I think it was the steps of the elevator, it's kind of like that, and we get caught in that loop. And it's about stupid stuff, but it feels like it's the most important thing in the world in that moment. And it's almost like a mouse in a wheel and you don't know how to get out of the loop. And so we have to do something to step out of that loop. And, you know, I know for me in the last few months, I've got caught in some ridiculous loops in my mind, where I thought that that night was my last night on the planet. And what I was worried about was my bedside table's not been cleaned. And another night, my office storeroom is a mess. What are they going to think when they come and sort my stuff out? What are they going to think about me? And it wasn't, oh, are my affairs in order?
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was the state of my place, the state of how I live. And then when the loop is broken, I then go and remedy those things. And then the next time the loop happens, oh, the cupboard in my spare room's not tidy. So it's almost like my brain has been rewired to get my affairs in order, to live in a clean environment, but not only clean physically, but clean energetically. And I think that with this upgrade, that I have to be in alignment, like I'm really pushed to be in alignment physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, aurically, energetically, and etherically, which is what I do. And because I'm doing so much clearing and activation for clients, my being is receiving all of that as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I've watched you kind of make your life more simple. There's been a simplifying of the day-to-day, because when you're in that space, it's your reality right then. And that's presence, isn't it? The presence is almost your own worst enemy when you're in a loop, because you are so present that it's that kind of, you know, like the matrix is not real, but everybody in it thinks it is. So that's the reality of it, isn't it? Which is the terror, you know? Did you feel afraid?
I felt the terror. Like the terror is overwhelming. It's like you can't breathe. But then there's a moment, and the moment is, do you know what? I can't care about that. And there's a releasing, there's a letting go. And then, so the terror is this incredible constriction. And then the releasing, the surrendering, is this expansion that is beyond anything that I can describe. And I just shut my eyes and go, well, you know what, if this is my last moment on the planet, so be it. And I go to sleep. And then I wake up, and then I have the terror, and then I go through the loop again, and then I surrender again. So it's actually, now that I'm talking about it, it's like practicing surrender, but not with my mind, for real. Many times in the last 6 months, I thought that I was dying in that moment. So I've gone through all of these deaths. And, you know, it's only when you're on the other side of the dark night of the soul that you truly see the profundity of it. And I can, like, back in 1999, 2000, 2001, I had a spiritual teacher that I went through this intense apprenticeship. And the thing that he would say to me is, bring me the gift of surrender. So when you think about that in your mind, you can't mindfully surrender.
That's right.
Yeah. You can't go, okay, I'm done, I surrender. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't, it's kind of like the distance between the mind and the heart is the longest journey that you'll travel. Well, it's like that with surrender. You can't mindfully surrender. All you can do is actually surrender. To me, what is the ultimate surrender? And that's death. And so that's where I go, and I just go, you know what, that's it. And even in that moment of, okay, well, I just have to let go, I'm reminded of the Celestine prophecy, ninth insight, where he's got men shooting guns at him, and he just actually surrenders. And it's a euphoric existential experience of expansion that obviously raises your frequency to another level, to a point where you're operating at in a different space. So I feel like I've been practicing that art over the last 6 months. And look, I've been through many journeys of the dark night of the soul. This one would probably have been my most intense, because my blood pressure was raised. My blood vessels hurt. When I put my feet on the ground, my feet stung because the blood pressure in my blood vessels was so painful. My arms hurt, everything hurt, my head hurt. And, you know, the weird thing is that I went to the doctor. I tried everything to bring my blood pressure down. And sitting in the doctor's surgery, she said, oh, yeah, your thyroid medicine's too high. We'll just drop that. My blood pressure came down, and it's basically stayed down. So it's like there's this unknown stress that was impacting on me as well. And it all just, and that was only 3 weeks ago. So, and now on the other side of is tonight my last night? Now there's this expansion and everything's happening really fast. So the question of what happens when you move through the dark night of the soul, there's an escalation, there's a speeding up of all the things that you felt like you were struggling with to put in place. They all align. It's like all the ducks line up. And it's not that the ducks weren't there in line, it's that your energy had to match that. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with you along the way. And so, you know, I was so in the trust that you were in an energetic journey, but it was really like, oh my God, you know, like seeing that surrender that you did, and really knowing and trusting who you are as a woman, and that this was part of the process, because having seen you do, you know, things like this before, but this was, yeah, definitely one where, you know, that level of surrender it's extraordinary. And it really is that, because this is the thing about surrender that I always think is, we don't just surrender to the stuff that we go, oh, well, I'll just surrender to that, you know, what's the worst that can happen kind of thing. It's surrendering to the terror of what you think's going to happen. And actually allowing that as well. And that's that kind of breaker point, isn't it? And it really is that terror. And so what do you think the vortex is about? What do you think the call up is? Do you know what I mean?
So the vortex, if you think about, so when I hear the word the vortex, I get a vision or an image in my mind of the eye of the storm. Yeah. Or the eye of a tornado. and there's stillness within the eye, right? But everything that goes around it is moving with speed, and it's chaotic, and it can be destructive. And so it's also purifying, because it gets rid of everything that's not required. And so when I talk about coming into our vortex with Tash and I, our energy is doing things in the subtle realm that is purifying people, that is purging that which is not required. As you upgrade your energy, things are purged, and that can be physical, that can be vomiting, that can be diarrhea, that can be spiritual flu, that can be chronic, like not chronic fatigue, but intense fatigue. It can be meeting resistance, like so hard that you think that you'll break. And the thing is, to create the new you must break. The thing that we have a resistance to is breaking. Yeah. And that's where the terror comes in, that you're going to lose who you know you are. But the thing is that the people who come into our vortex, they don't want to be the people who they are. They've got a new version that they want to be. But to step into that, or upgrade into that new version, everything has to break.
Yeah.
Everything has to die a metaphysical death for the, you know, when a fire goes through, it's black, like it's totally black. But if you put your ear down to the ground and you hear frequency, you know, the seeds have been cracked open, and they want to find the light. So they're coming up through the blackened earth, and there's beautiful green shoots, and then there's this tree, and then there's this amazingness out of destruction. So if you look at that analogy, it's like we're always being reborn. We're always going through a fire of some sort, and we're being reborn. It's just that when you're in a vortex, it's like the tornado, it's like the firestorm, it's like a fireball, or whatever force of nature that you want to align that to. It's being in a powerful energy. I don't know, washing machine. It's like you're being washed of everything that is dross, or everything that is dirt, that is not required for that new level of you. And you know, everyone's individual, everyone's a unique being, and that vortex will create a journey that's unique to each individual, and nothing is the same for anyone. And it's about feeling safe in that space. And you know, I guess the thing is, if I can't do that for myself, then how can I do that for other people?
Well, you've made me vomit before now, darling.
I have made you vomit. But it wasn't it powerful, Helen?
Yeah, extraordinary.
That a powerful moment for you? That's when everything like changed.
Yeah.
Not that it is our intention to make people vomit, but you know, sometimes the energy is so powerful that it does require you to purge.
And that's while we were speaking, wasn't it?
I know. She had to.
Slightly unpleasant. So it's really extraordinary to see you like really experience this personally, so that you can pass on this knowledge and this feeling of safety, because you have achieved these different spaces. You've then moved through, and so you know what's coming, or what's on the other side, or what they're going to receive, so that you can actually, with confidence and with total knowing,
Yeah.
say it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all anyone really wants to know, is it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I see life as peaks and troughs, valleys and mountains, and when we're on the valley floor, it's pretty tough. That's when you're in a dark night of the soul. Often you're on the valley floor. Like, people think that enlightenment or spiritual growth means that you're sitting on top of the mountain, but it's all in the journey. It's all in the how you navigate all of the steps on the journey that actually creates the energy updraft for you to feel like you've climbed that mountain. But in observing human nature, you know, you get to one mountaintop and you see another one and you're going, no, I want to be over there. So until we learn to fly, we go back down to the valley floor to get to the next mountaintop. But, you know, every experience that I've had, I've always learned something. And if I can impart that to other people, then that's probably my biggest mission, is learn from whatever it is that you do to raise your frequency, to be a better version of yourself. And it's an upward trajectory of growth.
And it just takes courage, doesn't it?
It does take courage, and I couldn't think of anything worse than staying the same.
Yeah. That to me is like a special kind of hell that I can't, you know, it's like going down to the valley floor and then disappearing through it, you know, to think that you can't, you know, rise to a different level of yourself and constantly call yourself up to being, you know, that better version. And also because with that comes all of the kind of opposing level of joy, doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's called something when you're playing computer games and you get to that next level, and it's like this rush of euphoria. Man, I did that. Well, I do that in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in my own game of life. And
oh, I love that, Julie.
Do you?
I do. Yeah. I think that's really clever. I can really feel that. Yeah. The game of life. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And look, one of my favorite authors, her name is Florence Scovel Shinn. She wrote these books back in the 1920s, so 100 years ago. And one of her books is called The Game of Life. But until I just said that, I actually didn't get it. I've literally just got it speaking with you now. And yeah, it's pretty awesome to overcome the challenges that you don't even have to share with anyone. They're internal, but I still get that buzz of, oh my God, I did that. And I achieved that. That was what I wanted. And you can have everything that you want in some way. Now, if I can't physically be somewhere, I do it in my imagination. And I live it in my imagination as real as if I was there in person. Your body doesn't know, your mind, your body, your soul doesn't know the difference. And I think that that's what I've done, that's what helps me navigate energy. That's what helps me navigate energetic upgrades, is I do a lot of it in the subtle realms. Or most of it, really.
And is that how you can work with clients that aren't anywhere near you?
Yeah. I taught myself how to do that. I'm no different to any other human on the planet. I just got given a clue as to what my life could be like, and I was invited to step into that life, and I chose that life. Let me tell you, I practiced every single day. Every single day I practiced. And so to me, there's no difference between you being there or being in my home and sitting right next to me. I feel you exactly the same way. And I've practiced to do that. I've practiced to feel someone on the other side of the planet. And just like in these last 6 months, I've been practicing fully, seriously surrendering and not anticipating that I'll wake up the next day. That's a practice that I do over and over. And so when you practice something, you get better at it. And when you get better at it, when you practice more, you get exceptional at it.
But it's your life's work as well, isn't it?
It is. What else will I do? What else would I want to do? And, sometimes I've wanted to walk away from it, but it draws me back because there's something about working in the subtle realms and in the energetic sphere that creates magic. Because it's unseen, human eye. And so everyone loves a little piece of magic.
Oh my goodness. It's what we really want, isn't it? And we need more of, is magic. And I just think you are magic, darling. I really do. I've just so enjoyed this conversation with you. I just love hearing all about how you get to this next place where I see you do more and more incredible work and hold a bigger space and offer more opportunities for other people to feel safe within what they need. And, your gift offers others a gift too. So, yeah, amazing, darling.
Thank you. I think we might wrap up there. Thank you so much for joining me on this conversation and giving me the space to articulate what's been going on.
It's an absolute pleasure, darling. I just love being around you.
Thank you for tuning into this insightful episode of Let's Chat with Julie Lewin and our special guest, Helen Glover. As we explored the depths of the dark night of the soul, we journeyed through the complexities of energetic upgrades, surrender and transformation. And recapping our conversation, Helen shared her profound experiences navigating challenges and breakthroughs of energetic upgrades, shedding light on the mind's looping patterns, and the profound surrender required for growth. We hope you found something valuable for your own life and inner journey in what was shared. And if you enjoyed the episode, like and follow our podcast wherever you listen, so it can get into the hands of those who need it most. Also, your insights shape the direction of our podcast, so please let us know if there are topics you want to hear about or experts you think we should invite. Thank you for listening, and remember, the journey to self-discovery and growth is an ongoing process, and it continues beyond the airwaves. And until next time, may you find courage, peace, and magic on your unique path.